Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books up off this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Hope y'all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I sure did. And now that it's June, it's summer. So now it's time for the third annual Summer of Superheroes. And I'm kicking things off with a bang, and I'm showing some love to the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Now, Miles Morales was created by Brian Michael Bendis and David Marquez, and he was popular in the Marvel Ultimate line of books. But then over time, Marvel had decided to bring him over to the mainstream Marvel universe, and he has been, and it's almost like it's been a continuation from his time in the Ultimate Marvel universe, if not better. I mean, let you face it, he is he's very popular. He's had his own movie, of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then even has his own video game. Oh, by the way, there's a sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse coming out real soon. And this is a Miles Morales Spider-Man comic hero tee. Inside the speech bubble, you have the webbing, and then on the sleeves you have the Spider-Man Universal logo. So, really looking forward. But I really love this character. At first, I kind of raised an eyebrow when they killed off the Ultimate Peter Parker and then brought him in. But then over time, I'm just thinking, wow, this Marvel really must be up to something. And let me tell you, this is probably one of the best things that Marvel has done in a very long time. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, or should I say the last episode I did, I asked, which Batman villain once hung Nightwing, the Red Hood, and Robin in a Batcave after beating all three of them at once? Well, the correct answer is Bane. Or should I say, Bane! Well, 18 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Gary Doe from Hope, Arkansas. So congratulations, Gary. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is an X-Men question. What is the name of the island in which a majority of all the mutants in the Marvel Universe now reside? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, John Stout from Bastrop, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this is a fight that a lot of folks have, there's been a debate for probably about a few months as to who would win this fight. But after doing the research, I finally came up with something. This fight features two of the most powerful characters in comics. One from mainstream books, a mainstream publication, and the one from an indie publication. Representing DC, we have Superman. And representing Image, we have Omni-Man. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Superman versus Omni-Man. Superman possesses superhuman strength, speed, agility, durability, senses and longevity, ocular powers including heat vision, electromagnetic spectrum vision, microscopic vision,
X-ray vision, telescopic vision, and infrared vision. He also possesses superhuman breath, freeze breath, wind breath, invulnerability, accelerated healing, and flight. Omni-Man possesses superhuman strength, super speed, invulnerability, flight, immense longevity, and heightened healing. Who would win? First off, this flight wouldn't be on Earth, it'd be in space. Superman realizes that Omni-Man is as dangerous as both General Zod and Doomsday, if not more. He'll soon find out the hard way that Omni-Man is more powerful. For minutes on end, the two would trade punches on each other. Superman soon realizes that he'll have to do more to stop Omni-Man. He uses his freeze breath on Omni-Man, but the latter claps the forecoming frost back towards the foreman and encases him in ice. Superman immediately uses his heat vision to free himself before Omni-Man grabs him, punches him repeatedly, and ends the fight by ripping Superman's head off his torso. Omni-Man wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Thank you, John Stout, for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there's only one thing I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and that's the news of 2 new animated shows coming to HBO Max. Now, these are both DC shows, and one of them is called Batman Caped Crusader. And when I found out about who's heading this show, oh man, remember all those times where I said that I wanted to, that I was going to subscribe to HBO Max and never did. Well, I really think I'm gonna do it this time, because I found out that the executive producers of the show are going to be J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and then one of the greatest animators of all time, who actually did the character designs for Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited, Bruce Timm. It was a real fan. When Batman the Animated Series came out in '92, I was a huge fan of it. Still am. And I always look forward to coming home from school and watching every episode. And then even Batman, even like the latter days of it, where Tim Drake becomes Robin and then Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. Now, there really is no word on who's going to play the voice of anyone. It's definitely not going to be Kevin Conroy playing the voice of Batman and Mark Hamill playing the voice of the Joker. But if I find out more, I'll let you know. Alright, the second show is called My Adventures with Superman. And this is a modern day take on both Superman and Clark Kent. Now, of course, they're working at the Daily Planet. Well, he and Lois rather are working at the Daily Planet, and then they're a little younger, and then Jimmy Olsen is this prodigy cameraman, or prodigy photographer rather, and Lois takes him under his wing. And at this point, I think from the article that I read, Lois knows that Superman and Clark are one and the same, and she pretty much documents like all their adventures with each other, with also some of the stuff going on at the Daily Planet. Now, I can tell you who's going to be the voice on here. Now, Jack Quaid is playing the voice of Superman, and then Alice, of course, he's from he plays from The Boys, and then Alice Lee from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is playing the voice of Lois. Can't wait for both of these shows. Now, one thing I can tell you though is that if there's one thing that DC has always been consistently good at outside of comics, it's anything animated, and it has been ever since Batman the Animated Series back in '92. So so you talk about 30 years of consistency and 30 years of such creativity, to the point where it just draws more fans in. Now, of course, Marvel is kind of good at anything animated, but DC has really been doing well in terms of animation. And yeah, I honestly can't wait. I mean, when this comes out, you know what? I've said it before. I keep saying it, and I never do it. I keep saying it, and I never do it. But I may just subscribe to HBO Max, and I really mean it this time. I mean, Batman, Caped Crusader, and My Adventures of Superman. I mean, just two. I believe these are just going to be two more great animated DC animated shows. I mean, whether it's been TV shows, whether it's been like movies, if it's animated and it's DC, it's done very well. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up, it's Action Comics number 1031. The Amazing Spider-Man number 66. The final issue, and I'm very excited to read this, Black Panther number 25. Captain America number 29. Catwoman number 39. I mean number 31 rather. Champions number 7. Detector Comics number 1036. The Flash number 770. Heroes Reborn number 3. Heroes Reborn number 4. Justice League number 61. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 26. New Mutants number 18. Robin number 2. Way of X number 2. Wolverine number 12. And finally, X-Men number 20. All right, that's 17, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 10,626. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tea for next week's episode of the show. What is the name of the island in which the majority of the mutants in the Marvel Universe now reside? Everyone who answers correctly will be in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Gary Doe from Hope, Arkansas, who won a free tea on this week's episode. All right, on next week's episode, I'm going to show some love to the Amazon Princess, Diana Themyscira herself, Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman is celebrating her 80th anniversary this year, and she's one of the oldest characters in comics, and I want to show some love to her. And I'm going to wear a Wonder Woman comic hero tee, and speaking of comic hero tees, if you like this Miles Morales comic hero tee, if you want one for yourself, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com for $17. And then also there are other shirts that you can order, and then also you can order a cup or a trucker hat. Now I'm still trying to brainstorm some more items to sell on there. But yeah. And now you're probably wondering why did I not go with Superman at first? Well, because Miles. Because I'm a big fan of Miles Morales, and I decided to show some love to him and wear the shirt. Now, I will wear Superman before the summer of superheroes is over. Don't worry, it's still happening. Now, if you have any suggestions that you want to make, or if you have any fight requests, go ahead and let me know. Your input never falls upon deaf ears with me. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 358. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!